Howdy folks, just a very quick one because I thought it would be a good time to do a live, and it's been a number of weeks. I haven't felt like I've had a topic that was worthy of jumping on and sharing, and I didn't want to just fill the void with dross. So here we are. I'm following up on the topic of crossing the midline. Now in the topic here, in the title I put crossing over, and I was play on words. And I'm not meaning to be churlish, obviously respectful of what's happened with the Queen and her passing and the end of her reign, and it's a momentous thing. But in terms of looking after ourselves, and obviously mental health is an important part of health, we need to look after both the body and brain. And in doing so, we look after the mechanics of what goes on inside this amazing skull of ours, because looking after it requires both some mental challenges and also some physical challenges that keep us on top of our game. And what I'm talking about is adding novelty into your movement. So using the body as a way of keeping the brain alive, fresh, challenged, and rewiring new networks all the time rather than playing to the old networks. If you're someone that gets stuck in your ways, someone that likes habit, someone that likes routine, as I do, it's something that to bear in mind, because I usually eat the same foods on the same days at the same time, go to the same places and so on and so forth, and everything's a little bit routine, and that's not good for our brains. So finding novelty in some of the activities that you do during the day is a good way of looking after that grey matter. And so this week's theme has been crossing the midline in terms of the movement patterns we've been doing. Crossing the midline, like I mentioned, is a really important element of movement because it strengthens the connection between the left and the right hemisphere. The corpus callosum, which is the network that joins the two hemispheres, can get weak if we always do the same. So by crossing the midline, you're encouraging that connection to get stronger from the left to the right. And obviously you want to go from the right to the left. We want it to go both ways. And that's why this week has been all about crossing the midline with all the movements that we've done. So it's been useful to move the body. We've strengthened our joints. We've strengthened our muscles. We've created slightly denser bones because we've loaded ourselves. But equally, it's been about looking after the grey matter. And it's important to not just move for movement's sake, but move for something that matters. So that's what we've done. So think about that for yourself ongoing. When you take the first step of a staircase, do you always lead with the same foot? Because if you do, notice it. Do you lead with the same foot? If so, change that foot. Let's go for the other foot first. And it will feel awkward because you've consciously got to think about it, because normally you're on autopilot. Your brain decides for you. So take the step with a different foot. Obviously get to the top and carry on your day. The other thing is driving to work. If you're someone who has to commute and you always go the same way, choose a different route. Go a different route. Yes, Google might give you an alternative, and that means you can go, 2 minutes slower, I've got those 2 minutes, I'll go the other way. And that just allows your brain to think a little bit more and concentrate on what you're doing, as opposed to being on autopilot. Crosswords, wordles, hurdles, all those sorts of things that are out there are great ways of challenging the grey matter. It makes you think, and it makes you think differently to what you would normally do most of the time. So you've got to add these things in, but when you do add them in, over time, that will help that grey matter. So I'll leave it with you. Look for the different thing. Look for the novelty. Move slightly differently. Choose to do something in a different way. I always eat an apple with my left hand. It's really difficult eating an apple with my right hand. So this lunchtime, I will be eating an apple with my right hand, and I will show you with a photograph of an apple in my right hand. I'll see you soon.